All right, folks, happy Friday and welcome to the Freedom of the Press podcast. My name is Jason Robertson and I'm here with my partner in crime,
Todd Peterson. Folks, thanks for joining us today. The golden age of America is upon us, and I keep reminding myself, I'm pinching myself every day. Is Donald Trump really president? Has it only been 4 days since he's been in office? Jason, I was telling you, the water is sweeter, the air is crisper. I'm walking on clouds. Like, people are just happier with Donald Trump in office.
Yeah, I got to say, I am going to start out, though, ripping on President Donald John Trump. He said I would be sick of winning. I am nowhere near sick of winning. We need more winning. This is fantastic. Everybody on the MAGA movement worked so hard to get President Trump elected. He made tons of promises to us, and he has 1,000% delivered in his first 4 days. And it's funny, Todd and I are like, man, what do we talk about on the podcast? Like, there's so much. And then it came down to, like, I mean, do we talk about immigration? Do we talk about ending DEI, ending affirmative action, sending troops to the border, pardoning January 6th? Drill, baby, drill. Thanks, Nancy. Yeah, folks, in the comments, let us know your favorite thing Donald John Trump has done in week 1 in office. Yesterday, he authorized the release of the JFK files and the MLK files. Todd, I'm leaving out 1,000 things.
I don't even know what you said, and I don't know what needs to be said. Folks, the list is too long, and I was actually trying to type it all up before the show. I can't even keep up with Trump's, all the executive orders that people are still like parsing through and figuring out what it means, ending affirmative action, abolishing DEI, classifying just 2 genders in society. You're either a boy or a girl. I mean, Jason, I don't even know what to say other than we have had 4 days. These 4 days have been better than Trump's entire 4 years in office. I'm ready to crown him the best president of our lifetime. And again, just to contrast him to Ronald Reagan, the conservative movement's hero, Reagan gave amnesty to millions of illegals. Donald Trump is sending them home.
Yeah, I got to say, and as we were flushing through everything, I mean, we're going to retake the Panama Canal. Like, this is insane. I love it. You know, he's working on ending wars. He did the AI thing. That kind of scared the heck out of me a little bit. Like, I don't know how I feel about AI developed
Mars and AI. Yeah, we're on the fence with Mars and AI here, but
yeah, well, we'll set that aside for the time being. But yeah, I gotta say, oh yeah, we got K-Gun Girl, we got Rayleigh Eastwick, everybody's in. Folks, let us know in your comments what is your favorite thing President Trump has done in week 1. It's oh my gosh,
Jason, it's starting early today.
Oh, come on, Michael.
You know, Jason and I here, I am practically floating out of my chair. I am so excited for everything that's happening. Jason, in 2 months, I'm flying to the Gulf of America. I will be in Tampa, Florida. Gulf of America, folks. I'll be swimming in it. But then Michael has to rain in our parade here. What's with the people? Why do you have a bunch of people up there? F the village people. Because the song is amazing. Michael,
right?
Simple. The YMCA is an amazing song. Trump has made it awesome. The dance here is viral. Don't hate so much. Don't hate. You can be opposed to a lot of the things of the leftist agenda, and that's one thing that you just don't have to care about.
Well, and it's funny. We were talking about Eeyore earlier. Like, we both interact with a lot of people in the conservative space, and some of the people are trying to, like, they just want to nitpick everything. Like, Donald Trump has done so much. He has gotten so much done. He has taken on so many hard things. He's going to try to repeal birthright citizenship, which he should rightfully do. So yeah, Michael, thanks for tuning in. But dude, like, take a happy pill or something. Like, how on earth, and how could you be mad about the village people? Do you know how many musicians we listen to are gay? Like, I remember I was talking to my wife. I listened to Judas Priest as a youth, and it was one of my favorite bands. And like, it came out later that Rob Halford was gay. And I'm like, I guess all the leather and studs should have probably given it away, but I still love Judas Priest. So I'm just going to say it's, yeah, it's crazy.
Well, and pick a lane. So you're upset about them being gay as musicians. Like, are you morally opposed to drug usage? going around with all the different groupie girls every single night. Like, what is it about rock and roll that your morality is okay with, Michael? But when it comes to being gay all of a sudden as a musician that dances flamboyantly, like, tell me where your personal line is and where you're cherry picking some biblical authority. But I got to say this, Jason, the fact that the Village People are out there, I'm just going to mark that as a huge W. Like 2 weeks ago, the Village People were like, Trump, can you stop using that song? And then it turns out they've made millions of dollars off of it. And now they're dancing at the inauguration. Like, cultural win here. Donald Trump, he's homophobic. He's a racist. He's a sexist. Folks, Donald Trump got the Village People to dance on stage with him at the inauguration. And I'm told that he's a homophobe. Like, another narrative has just been smashed to pieces. Michael, take the W, my man.
Yeah, and I got to say, Donald Trump said it in the campaign, nothing will bring America together like success. And you're seeing it in the mainstream media. You're seeing it in kind of lefty organizations. Like all these people that, you turn on CNN and they want to talk about Elon doing a Nazi salute. Like anybody who's stupid enough to think that was a Nazi salute, I don't know what to tell you. Todd, I didn't use the R word. You can tell your wife. Credit to that.
Well, she listens to our show now. I actually started her car this morning to warm it up, and our podcast came on. I was like, good for you, honey.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Jen's watching the show, too, I think, from work. And I'm loud, and she's working from home now. So what are you going to do? But it's, it's funny as we talk about how much people are getting behind this movement. Everybody wants America to win. You are seeing the ones that don't want America to win. Take the win. Let's unite as a country. Let's get things done. Yeah, and look at these chaps just popping. Man.
Jason, I just wanted to shout out our Facebook crew here. Guys, thanks for tuning into the Freedom from the Press podcast. Jason and I so appreciate you watching, commenting, joining the program here. We do it for you all. We do it to have fun. Jason and I'm always having fun, but Jason, I am having so much more fun today because Trump is president. But appreciate you choosing our show. Joining our community. And if you really want to join our community, at the top of the hour, 11 o'clock, we'll be going live only on Rumble because there's things we can't say on Facebook. So head over to our Rumble channel, get the app, go to the desktop browser. The American Tribune is the channel over on Rumble. A little preview there. But we got a nice little community that watches live every week from just Rumble, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we love that. I got to touch on Mark, too. Mark's talking about where did birthright citizenship come from? Constitution does not allow for illegals to be automatic citizens. Mark, you're tuned into the right podcast. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the show because as there's a million things we can get on here and we can break down a million things on the Freedom from the Press podcast. And Todd hit the nail on the head. Thank you so much for people tuning in. Comment, like the show, share it with your friends. Maybe somebody you don't politically agree with. Consider being a subscriber. You can subscribe on the Rumble channel. We do this because we love interacting with you people and we think the truth needs to get out. But one of the biggest things that we wanted to talk about is the border and securing the border, birthright citizenship. Give everybody a breakdown of what's going on there. Oh my gosh, and in the house, party doesn't start till Faley's here. What are you going to do?
There's the Rumble crew. Jason, I just got to touch on this from Polly. Sounds like Polly's over in North Carolina getting a visit on day 5 from President Trump. So thankful for our president. He is getting out where the people are in need. Great president. Thank you, Mr. Trump and beautiful Melania. This is my question, Jason. Imagine not voting for Donald Trump. How do you feel right now? You believe the media lies. You thought you were being morally virtuous by voting for Kamala Harris because Democrats take care of people. And you're watching Donald Trump just get down to business every single day. I can't imagine not being a Trump voter. Like, do you regret it a little bit? Are you waking up? Are you always going to be miserable? But I am so proud of our country for voting for Donald Trump to turn this country around and introduce us to a golden age, the golden age we got to talk about today.
Yeah, and we're going to start talking about, Todd, should we play the Thomas Homan video?
Let's play the Thomas Homan video.
This is pre-election when he was, or pre-inauguration. This is when an interview Thomas Homan gave where he was going to talk about how the media is going to try to spin this.
We'll take a lot of hate. We're going to be sued every day, numerous times. I think you'll see the left try to control the media. They're going to show the first crying female, first crying child and say how inhumane we are. But they won't talk about 340,000 children that they've failed to take care of. They're not going to talk about the young women who have been murdered in this country at the hands of criminal cartels. We're not going to talk about the hundreds of angel moms and dads who buried their children. You want to talk about family separation? They buried their children because their children were killed by a member of a criminal cartel or someone that's not supposed to be here. They'll tell one side of the story. They'll try to vilify us, but they're not going to stop us from doing our job. I don't care what the media says about me. If they saw what I saw in 34 years, saw the tragedies I've dealt with in 34 years, they would certainly understand me. They may not still like me, but there's a reason why we do what we do. Yeah. I'm tired of women being raped, making that journey. I'm tired of dead children. I'm tired of women and children being sex trafficked. On this administration, sex trafficking is up 600% of women and children. We have a record number of people on the terrorist watch list being arrested. Historic record, 3,500% increase. Record number of Americans dying of fentanyl. We got a record number of cartel members that have entered this country. You know, the criminal cartels in Mexico making more money than they've ever made in smuggling aliens, trafficking in women and children, and moving dope. So hate all you want. Push the misinformation out all you want. We're not going to slow down. We're not going to go away. We're going to get this done.
I don't know how you disagree with any of that.
Right. Now, and here's what I got to say, too. Thomas Holman was out there and he was cautioning people about misinformation, disinformation. He laid out what we were going to do, how they were going to do it. Oh, Fally, love you, Tom. Absolutely. Now, we got Gary in the chat. Gary's the kind of people that are falling for this. Trump's recent deportation order includes deporting American Indians. Some immigrants and American Indians have been rounded up and their whereabouts are in question. You can Google Trump's EO deports Native Americans and find news source citing a case under Judge John Corrier. News is purposely being withheld from the public. John, you've been Gary, you've been lied to so long by the mainstream media that your brain can't even process. You should tune in every Friday to our podcast. We break down media narratives. We break down media lies. Now, Thomas Holman started talking about, are you Googling it, Todd?
Well, he said to Google it, so I Googled it, but I don't see anything to corroborate this outlandish claim. Like, I know the leftist media is steeped in some pretty insane nonsense, but to deport, where would we deport them, Gary? Like, where are they going? I don't know where are they going?
And as somebody who has read about 2/3 of all the text of all the executive orders he's passed, which, by the way, that is a huge undertaking. No, Gary, there are no Native Americans being rounded up. You are insane. Oh my God, now we got the Federation of Grumpy Old Men. Is the Trump-Hitler comparison accurate? Eerie similarities show both a monarch approach to politics, Trump's often vulgar denunciation of his opponent's alleged failures. Oh my gosh. You fell for the Hitler hoax. Todd, I got to say, Mark Zuckerberg promised to give more reach to conservative content and quit shadow banning. This might mean we are going to see people who have different viewpoints. We got
more reach thanks to Zuckerberg, and now we get these people, the pure Princip. Jason, there are so many things. I love this. This is my favorite part. I love engaging with these people. Gary's talking about deporting Native Americans. Jason, I pulled up this article. Do you know what Trump did for the Native American community? He recognized a new tribe. He is more recognition to Native Americans to exist on their lands. I disagree with the idea of reservations. I don't like sovereign status. I disagree with all of that, but I'm highlighting this to point out that Trump is doing the exact opposite of what Mr. Brainwashed Gary Colbert suggested in our chat box. Gary, wake up.
Yeah, and the Federation of Grumpy Old Men, like Donald Trump's the worst Hitler ever. He's got the gays up on stage with him.
Hitler would have had the village people dancing at his inauguration?
Yeah, hey, Todd, what did Hitler think of the gays?
I think they would have been sent to Auschwitz, not his Like, what is wrong with people? Like, I understand why the elites say it. Jason, I always want to make the distinction. The elites know they're lying. They know he's not Hitler. They know he's not a threat to democracy. They know that they're the threat to actual democracy, whatever that word means to people anymore. They know they're lying. They told you he said fine people. They said he police officers died in J6. We have clips of Obama and Harris campaigning on those lies a week before the election. They know they're lying. These people actually believe the lies. They think
Right.
they're telling the truth. You think he's like Hitler? He's the worst Hitler we've ever had.
Oh my God. We need to send Donald Trump to Hitler retraining school if he's going to be a Hitler, because he is doing it all wrong.
What do you mean he's expanding freedoms for all Americans? What do you mean he's making sure that the job market and education are free from racist policies like affirmative actions or DEI in the workplace, policies that actually have a hierarchy of race importance, kind of like I would dare say past regimes, Jason, where a certain race got priority over others? That's what we have lived under with woke Democrat policies.
Right.
I can't.
Now, here we go, too. Trump is wonderful president. God bless him, Mr. President. Absolutely. And Paul Reese in the chat. Oh, wait, we were both clicking on something.
Here you go. You do it.
We love engaging with the audience, folks, and I hope you guys love it.
Great audience too, Jason.
Paul Reese, by the way, what is Paul Reese own, Todd?
Folks, if you want delicious coffee, freshly ground, delivered to your door every month, you can subscribe and save. Go to splitrockcoffee.com. I am drinking the breakfast blend right now. Higher caffeine content, by the way. And if you use promo code TODD10 at splitrockcoffee.com, you can save 10% on your order immediately. And if you subscribe and save to get the monthly subscription, monthly delivery, never go to the grocery store again, you can save even more. splitrockcoffee.com, promo code TODD10. We are in Minnesota. They are in Minnesota. They are a disabled, veteran-owned company, small business in Minnesota in our own backyard. We are trying to fight the communists in Minnesota, but support us all out. We're in freezing Minnesota, splitrockcoffee.com.
Oh, yeah. Hey, one more shout out before we get to the next video. Francis over on the Rumble. That's all they got, right, Francis? Like, oh, but Trump. All right, so let's go. So Thomas Holman previewed it. We talked about it on the podcast, and it's fascinating because the first video coming out the day of the inauguration was some lady at the border crying, because people don't know this. This is weird. You can be in a third world country, an NGO, a non-government organization, would provide you with a non-government funded by the government, would provide you with a cell phone that you would download an app onto, and you would apply for asylum in America. Now, Todd, we should probably explain the different types of immigration. Do you want to take a shot, or you want me to?
Well, are you talking about status of immigrants? Are you talking about legal? We had the H-1B visa controversy a month ago. You got the illegals, you got the refugees, the asylees, you got all sorts of people coming across the border.
So really, if you want to come here and study, you can get an educational visa. You want to come here and work, you get an H-1B visa. There's a process. You apply, you're approved. If you're come in as a citizen, there's an application process for that. Takes a while. It is an honor to be in America. And to do that, you have to say, hey, I understand your country, your culture. I'm going to speak your language. I want to be a contributing member of society. On the other end, we have refugees. Ilhan Omar's family was a refugee. Go over to the AmericanTribune.news. Her dad worked for the government that got overthrown, which, by the way, because they were kind of genocidal jerks. And so then they were being hunted down by the new government because they her dad was one of the big shots in a genocidal regime in Somalia. They were legitimately being hunted and killed. So that's how she came over as a refugee. Okay. And whether you agree with it or not, there's countries of the world, like if you're a Christian in some Muslim nations, when countries are overflown. But this concept of an economic migrant is they're trying to make economic migrants an asylum. Todd, can you explain what an economic migrant is?
My country is poorer than America. I'm going to come steal and mooch from the rich country of America at the taxpayer expense. I'm going to work for lower wages. I'm going to get all the government handouts, and my life is set up. And then maybe if I make enough money, I'll send it back to my home country and steal it again out of the American economy. So no, it just doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way. And what the left has done with the aid of Obama, a little bit of Clinton before him, Republicans never pushed back and rolled this back, but they made it where your country sucks and your standard of living is bad. You can try to game the asylum system to come into America. So these are just poor people who should apply for regular access to America, say, hey, I want to be a citizen. I love America. But instead, you got these NGOs in these crap hole countries where everybody's poor, downloading the app, giving them some supplies and setting them on their way to America. And I got to say, we can't take on the entire world's poor population. Now, why are Republicans okay with this? Because you're bringing in cheap labor. Why are Democrats okay with this? Because you're bringing in cheap labor and they're going to vote Democrat. So you bring in these third world people with no job skills that you're going to put on public assistance. They're going to vote for the people that give them more assistance. And the corrupt business end of the Republican Party, the establishment, is going to be completely fine with them because all of a sudden we get cheap labor. We get people to harvest the crops. We get people to do it's insane.
Yeah, and I got to say, Jason, I would do the same thing if I were these poor immigrants. Why wouldn't you want to come to America? At the individual level, I understand what you're doing. I would do it too. Why wouldn't you want to come to America? But it doesn't get to work that way because then what is the limiting principle? Do you say we let 1,000, 1 million, 10 million? Like there's no limiting principle when you say, hey, if you're poor, just come to America. Like America as a nation is defined by its border. It's defined by who comes in here. And yeah, maybe it doesn't feel good to turn someone away that's poor. I'm sorry. There's 7 billion people on the planet. You don't all get access to America. We are blessed every day to be born in this country, to live in this country. Yes, you should all be thanking God every single day you were born in America, Democrats. Or better yet, you could fly down there. You could help them with your own money. You could maybe provide a home for them, but they never want to do that either. They just want government to take care of it in some way, shape, or form. But Jason, I do want to go back to the Tom Homan clip because he said something that I've never heard anyone else talk about. This is what the Trump administration does so well, flipping narratives on their head. So as we get to the video, and you're going to see, as he says, you're going to see crying moms, crying babies. You're going to get families separated is going to be the narrative here. And Homan's point is like, I have seen lots of families get separated. It's when parents bury their dead children because of a drug overdose thanks to fentanyl crossing the border. We have had lots of separated families. I have had parents bury their kids from the murder or the R word of an illegal alien. We have had lots of family separation as a result of these horrible Biden policies. So don't play along. Oh, here's a crying family. They had an anchor baby. Well, they can all go home. Trump and Homan have said they can all go home then if they don't want to be separated. But we have watched families get separated for 4 years, and it's been awful. Don't buy into their narrative.
Right. One more thing. You can cue up the next clip, Todd, of the crying lady.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Ruth here. Ruth, you need to watch her show every Friday. He has a House and Senate majority now. In 2017, Dems had both, and Trump was cut off with everything he did, but still managed to make America great while climbing a brick wall. Remember this for 2026 election, red wave all the way. Keep the House, the Senate for the 4 years. Then 2028, keep it red. I got to fact check you, Ruth. Donald Trump had the House and Senate in 2016. He had the House and Senate by more than he has them today. At least the House. I'd have to look up the Senate. Republicans were the ones that opposed him, not Democrats. Like the Republicans had enough of a majority. It's going to be really hard to get things through legislatively because in the Senate, you've got McConnell, who refused to retire, Murkowski, and who's the other lady that's crazy? Where's Kevin?
Collins?
Yeah, Collins. And then in the House, he's only got like 1 or 2 seats once all the dust settles. So yeah, that's going to be interesting.
You always got to point it out. It is Republicans, the rhinos, that are going to be the impediment. Democrats, they're nothing. You expect them to say no, but they're in the minority. It will be rhinos that block the Trump admin from making America great. All right,
let's see this lady.
Don't feel bad for her. It's emotional blackmail. That's all this is. But take a listen.
¿Qué va a pasar con mi vida donde soy una madre desplazada de Colombia? No tengo dónde vivir, no tengo nada. Vengo buscando refugio para mi familia. ¿Qué va a pasar con mi vida ahora? ¿Qué pasa con mi vida? Eso me pregunto.
¿Qué pasa con mi vida? I'll tell you what's going to ¿Qué pasa con tu vida? You're going to go back to Colombia and you're going to figure it out.
Yes. And this started within minutes of Trump's inauguration. And why she's crying is the little app that the NGO gave her in Colombia on the phone. All of a sudden, the app went away and all their hearings were postponed. This is not an asylum seeker, folks. This is an economic migrant who is just poor and wanted to start over. Maybe she's very well intended. She should apply to be a citizen, doing it the right way, not going through the asylum process. She's attempting to break the law. She's attempting to lie about her thing. And they're going to try to have these poor crying people on there. It is emotional blackmail. Don't fall for it. Democrats are like your children who are crying because you're not giving them candy. And sometimes you just got to be a grown-up and say, I'm sorry, you just don't get the candy.
Yeah. Sorry, lady. I feel nothing for her. The correct emotional response is basically nothing. I feel nothing for you and your plight. Look, I'm sorry you're poor. I'm sorry you're uneducated. I'm sorry you're from the mountains of Bogota. Like, you just don't get to come here and reap the benefits of this nation when this nation exists to protect its own citizens. That's it.
Right.
So, Colombia can figure it out. Colombia's got resources down there. Sorry. Like, I'm just sorry. You're not here for the freebies. Don't come here. That's it. I don't know what to say, Jason.
Now, I got to say, too, I've had two people in the chat now that say, what are you talking about? Trump didn't have the House and Senate in 2016. Todd?
I'm Googling it just to, they don't believe us apparently when we say it. So I was going to find Google, but Paul Ryan was Speaker of the House. Mitch McConnell was Leader of the Senate. They are both Republicans. Like, I can find the numbers for you there, Deborah. I don't know what you are smoking. Republicans controlled every branch of government and still messed things up the first time around.
Here's what's crazy. So I just Googled to get the exact number. In 2017, the United States House of Representatives, Republicans had 241 seats compared to Democrats who had 194 seats.
241?
241.
And we couldn't get stuff done. Let that sink in.
Yeah, and right now, what do we have, like 215?
220?
Yeah, I'd have to look up the number. I know it's only a couple seat majority. No, really, guys, like...
That is wild to me. And then they lost the majority. Like, how many seats did they lose in the next couple of elections then? Like, that's...
Oh, in the midterm, they got smoked.
Yeah, that's wild to me. But here's a headline from the BBC. It's not far-right American Tribune, apparently, but election 2016, Republicans retain House and Senate. Why? I don't know why we're debating facts. Honestly, Jason, I don't mind debating opinions. I hate debating facts. This is not debatable. This is reality.
Right. But anyways, thanks for that fact check. Oh, man. I got to say, Facebook is giving us the reach because we got Dirty Daniel Porter telling us to F you. God, I love the new Facebook.
I love this. I guess, Jason, this is the question for Daniel. What do you disagree with, Daniel? We're open to debate, happy to discuss this, but what specifically have we said that is incorrect, wrong? Like, tell us
Daniel
where we're wrong.
Wants to open up his house, or I should say his parents' house, and he wants the illegal immigrant to stay in his parents' basement with him. Maybe that's it. Now, let's play the real illegal immigrant that was detained.
That video, I'm curious, what do you think?
I'm not going back to Haiti.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti. I tell him that.
We'll play it again. It's a shorter clip.
You see that video, I'm curious, what do you think?
I'm not going back to Haiti.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti. I tell him that.
In Boston, which is a sanctuary city, they arrested that guy who has been here since Obama. Kind of I don't know exactly his legal situation, but since he's been in the United States, he has been arrested 17 times. And do you have the longer clip that they did where they talked about him? And he was he was like, he's been unemployed, living in government paid housing for years. He's had 17. I haven't heard what the crimes are. And Holman rounded his butt up and said, "You're going home." And he's like, "F you, Trump. You know, I love Biden and Obama." Folks, are these the people you want coming into your country? Like, and you know, maybe you could make the case, was it the crying woman in, which I don't agree with, but I can understand that. But like, is Daniel Porter gonna hop on there and then say, what the heck? Is he going to, like, this is Daniel Porter wants this guy living in his parents' house with him. He wants our taxes to go for that.
I've been saying it for weeks now. If you oppose Donald Trump, you are actively supporting and promoting evil. Daniel Porter is taking the position that these illegal criminals, you said it, 17 priors. Daniel is advocating for this guy to remain in America, to steal from you, to harm you, to do goodness knows what. And why? Daniel, it is on you to defend your position. Why does this guy deserve to stay in America? I don't want any criminals on the street. If you can't participate in society, goodbye. There's a jail cell, throw away the key. Let alone an illegal, or I don't know, he's Haitian. Maybe it's the temporary protected status, so we got to use our words carefully here. But it is on you, Daniel, to defend why that guy should be here. The correct answer is he does not belong here. Even people that play by the rules I don't want here at this point, let alone this guy. But yeah, Jason, I got the longer clip if you want to see this one here.
Yeah, let's play that one, just so people can get an idea how nice he is.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
That's what you want, Daniel. You can live in your basement.
Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction.
Señor, ¿cómo se llama?
And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking.
These are all of Daniel's friends. Daniel Porter wants more of this. Again, defend that position, Daniel. Good luck.
Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally. This is what ICE calls collateral.
So you guys got your main target just now, but you got somebody else. What just happened?
So our main target was released.
When it comes to getting somebody from jail.
But I don't know, that's a feel-good story, Jason. It's all serious, but it's making me happy inside. I'm like, oh, they're all getting arrested and sent home? Like, more of that, please.
Even the collateral damage, and I'm going to say this, folks, if there's an illegal immigrant gang member with a warrant for different things, I would probably not be chilling with them. You know what I mean? And these are the type of criminals that the left wants. And once again, so the Democrats, the communists, the lefties, they want these sorts of people in because A, they're going to be reliant on the government, like all those people, I'm sure, getting their government bennies. Two, if given the opportunity to vote, they'll vote Democrat. Three, it increases because they're counted in the census. It increased the number of House and Senate seats. And four, the communists, they want people like that in your communities because all they want, this is a tactic. Will covers it a lot on her Substack where they just want chaos and danger and they want people feeling reliant on the government because then you give up more of your liberties for the government. The example I always use is a Patriot Act. We were terrified as a nation after 9/11. We gave the government too much power. Republicans at the time were pushing for it. In the Patriot Act, they have abused that ever since.
Yeah, and look at Daniel Penny. They want criminals, they want criminal elements in society. And if you protect yourself and protect others, they will go after you, not the criminal. They'll go after you, the person trying to protect others in society. So they want these illegal criminals in the streets. That will be the pretext for taking more power. Oh, you can't have a gun. You can't protect yourself. Let government take care of you. This is the playbook. It is obvious. Again, we got Daniels, we got Democrat voters that don't want to admit this. They can't see it. They won't see it. But this is it. I don't know, Jason. It's so obvious at this point what is happening.
Right. Well, and you have to understand too, any institution that is not like this guy. If you heard at the end, he was detained. He was arrested and ICE wanted him held so they could just go pick him up. They let him go. A violent criminal was let go by the local police force or whoever was holding him. But like somebody they elected in Boston to protect them, let that guy go because they didn't want him to get deported. And do we play the news clip? Like, this is the most audacious thing I have ever seen.
News at this hour as well. President Trump now authorizing ICE to target schools and churches in its deportation raids. He is revoking a directive excluding arrests in so-called sensitive areas. Chicago's immigrant community on edge tonight as Michelle Gallardo reports. Activists and elected officials are canvassing neighborhoods, letting people know their rights should ICE come knocking.
Up and down Cermak Avenue today, business after business prominently displayed the same flyer. Don't open for ICE. Little Village business owners telling us it's the least they can do. People need to stick together, no matter their immigration status, says Jose Luis Vasquez, who's owned this computer and phone repair shop for 9 years now. A few blocks away at the Little Village Arch, a handful of activists braved the sub-zero wind chills to rally against the Trump administration's stated plans to conduct mass deportation raids in Chicago.
We've been out here since 5 in the morning, educating our community, educating our people that they have rights.
Among those canvassing the neighborhood was 22nd Ward Alderperson Michael Rodriguez, who spent the morning passing out informational flyers, instructing people what to say should ICE come knocking.
Este le puede entregar a la inmigración.
There was, to be sure, little in terms of foot traffic in Little Village today, and while much of that may very well be related.
Can I just pause to ask this question out loud? Little Village, there's not a lot of foot traffic there today. Is this just a neighborhood of known illegals? Is this what's happening in the story, Jason? This whole area is just full of illegals?
Yeah. Yeah, and I got to say, watching stuff like this makes my blood boil. So first you have the computer shop owner, right? And the computer shop owner, well, you have the media covering this like this is a win. You have local politicians, being like, oh, this is great. And then you have a local business owner who I don't know his immigration status, but you're not speaking the goddamn language. You're in America, speak English.
After 9 years of owning that store.
After 9 years. Like, you can't go to Japan and refuse to learn Japanese. You can't go to France and refuse to learn French. You're in America 9 years. I'm sorry, que pasa? Like, speak the language. You are no longer in whatever country you are from. 9 years, this nation has provided you opportunities. They've probably provided you financing. They've provided you safety. They've provided you security. You've got to use our public works. Once again, I don't know your immigration status. But if you don't have loyalty to the country that has provided an opportunity for you to run a computer repair store for 9 years, you, sir, are the problem.
Yeah, I love this question here. Oh, where'd it go? What rights do they think they have? That's what I'm wondering here as well. What rights do you have when ICE comes knocking on your door to detain you because you are an illegal alien in this country and you've been mooching off the government? No doubt they're getting handouts. No doubt these activists on the street are getting government money as well, kind of funding their entire operation. The correct answer is you have zero rights if you are an illegal in this country. And then, again, like the repair shop guy, yeah, I'm glad you own a business. I want you all to own businesses like that, contribute. But that's not how this works either. You need to go a step further and speak English and become a citizen and do all the rest of that stuff. And also, if you're not committing a crime, I don't think you're high priority. Like, I have a leftist cousin-in-law, I'll call it, my wife's cousin, teacher in the East Coast, and she was posting all this stuff on social media like, my school is a safe place for my kids. I won't let the government in here. And it's a government school, so the government is already there. But I don't think Trump's targeting like fifth graders either. Like the fear mongering and the hoaxing about this whole situation is just, again, off the charts.
Well, and that's what's remarkable. And the mental weakness of people. Donald Trump said he is going. Now, don't get me wrong. he's going to get to the illegal immigrant legal person eventually.
Well,
We have
fine.
hundreds
we
of
want.
thousands.
Yeah, to be clear, we want that.
We want that, right? He is starting out targeting illegal immigrants that are really bad people. And like I say, I don't know how anybody can question that. Like, raise your hand if these people they were just breaking down, these are the people you want. And like this, like I want them to show the video of him walking around like these city council members, like, hey, these are the people they removed. Computer shop owner, you okay with them getting removed? Well, regardless of their immigration status, like we're a country, we get to decide who comes in. Just like at your house, like if I show up at Todd's house, like he gets to decide if he lets me in or not. Like, shocking.
Yeah, imagine that. You know what, Jason? I would be more okay with this if we ensured that not a single dime went to these individuals. Like, I mean, abolish the entire welfare system as far as I'm concerned. But since we're talking about illegal immigration in this case, cut away all of their money and let them sink or swim on their own. I am a little more okay with that. So if I know you're here and you are alive, you are providing for yourself, or you have found a community that can provide for you and take care of you. And I'm all about community helping out. That would be an okay alternative. But since these dudes get government handouts, this guy probably got government loans to start up his business. It doesn't make any sense to have a small computer repair shop when it is just as cheap to go buy a new one. So I think this is a front for something anyways. But because there are government handouts and you're here, this is a problem. Yeah,
well,
John.
Yeah, and it's there we go.
See ya. There's the door.
There's the door. Facebook chat is way more active today, Todd.
I am loving the Facebook chat. Again, Jason, I got to say it. We have a wonderful audience. Folks, thanks for tuning in to Freedom from the Press. Thanks for your engagement. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. I was already having a great day. I'm having an even better day just reading your comments and sharing in this jubilation with you. Like, what a great week. Donald Trump is president. Stuff is happening.
Right. Oh, my gosh. And people are going like paragraph mode on these. Like, we can't read them all. Like, God. Although I got to say, we barely hear from K-Gun Girl. Kev hasn't checked in. Kev's probably still over watching Bannon, I bet.
Yeah, Kev comes a little bit later. He's got his priorities.
He's cheating on us with Steve Bannon. Like, what's the deal? I don't know. We gotta get but back to the stories here. Do we go to the next video, Todd?
We got the border wall. We got troops.
Look at this. Promise me,
this
promise
morning,
kept.
The first 1,500 U.S. troops are arriving at the southern border as President Donald Trump launches his long-promised crackdown on immigration. The active duty Army soldiers and Marines deployed to address what Trump declared is a national emergency. The Pentagon says the troops include military police units, combat engineers, and intelligence specialists who will aid with detection and monitoring. The military will also help construct new barriers along the border and provide air power for deportations.
Oh, God. There's things I can't say live on air, Jason. I am, shall we say, I'm almost to the same place as when my wife and I are alone. I'm listening to this. I'm like, border wall, troops, air support, intelligence. I'm just like, I can't handle this.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Speak of the devil, too. Dee Dee's here. Thank God. Had a hard time finding all day, but I'm here now. We were getting worried, Dee Dee. We were going to send out the rescue party. Yeah, Todd, you nailed it. Donald Trump said he's going to send troops to the border. And what do we have?
Troops. We got 1,500 of them right now. Keep them coming. Send more troops. I can't get enough troops at the border. I can't build high enough walls, but look at that chain link going up. It's so great. We got drones in the air. We got detection specialists. I can't take enough of this.
Oh, my gosh. And I got to say, if you're this Mexican caravan coming up, and let's be honest, Trump calls these people invaders. What else can you call them? Other than Democrats are inviting them in. Like, hey, come to America for the free stuff. Like, but then just support us politically. It's, oh my gosh.
It's almost like a quid pro quo. That used to be a problem too.
Well, and it's fascinating. And maybe now we talk a little bit about, well, what's the next video clip, Todd? Do we need?
We got Ron DeSantis. So, Jason, I am willing to let bygones be bygones. Ron DeSantis, ever since Trump won the election, has been an awesome surrogate as governor of Florida. He is saying the right things again. He's doing his job. There was never any question that Ron DeSantis was a fantastic governor, for the most part. We kind of did a deep dive on him with Disney and kind of donor money and stuff like that. But Ron DeSantis, by and large, has been a fantastic conservative governor. Now that Trump's in charge, now that Ron DeSantis knows his lane and he's staying in it, he's doing great stuff again. So we got Ron DeSantis hammering a reporter over stuff and defending the Trump administration. I love to see this. Oh, now we got, there it is.
WJXT News Channel 4 here in Jacksonville. I just have 4 questions. One, Florida is home to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who are working in areas.
Well, you know, just to be, so the federal government has made clear that the statutory term, it's not they're illegal aliens. That's the statutory term. That's what it is. And I think it's to try to water down. I mean, like, undocumented, it's like if I get in my car and I forget my wallet, okay, I don't have my document on me, like my driver's license, but I mean, I still have a right to drive. I just made a mistake. This is intentional to come in illegally. And it's not just a question of missing a document. It's a question of, you know, you violated the law that were very clear and knowingly and with the help of the cartels in many cases.
So I'll rephrase that. So Florida is home to hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants who are.
Oh, God. He got the reporter to rephrase the question. Ron DeSantis for the win.
Now I got to talk about this, too, because Donald Trump is doing a phenomenal job of this. And Ron DeSantis, we were really hard on Ron DeSantis.
We were.
And I still have not forgotten what he did. I'm willing to forgive and forget and move forward right now. Or I will forgive but never forget. Fun fact, too, I had lined up that interview for Jackson, the Jay Burden show. We're starting to do some work with Jay Burden. And one of the people that he had interviewed had spent some time with DeSantis. And they were working with Laura Loomer when she was down there just wrecking DeSantis. And after it was over, he kind of ran into DeSantis at a fundraiser. And I don't know if this is true, but he said, Ron, you know, what happened? And DeSantis essentially let him know, like, they told me Trump was going to drop out, which is why I wanted to be the first one in. And then once I was in and he wasn't dropping out, because if you remember early in his campaign, he was all like, I'm not talking about Trump. I'm just talking about me. And yeah, evidently he got bad advice. So he still took the advice. But that's, and I don't know if that story is true or not. But what Donald Trump did there, that's important. The left has been calling these people undocumented immigrants, not illegal aliens. And I love how he phrased that. Like, an undocumented, is like, I forgot my wallet at home. No, you're not supposed to be here. It is illegal for you to be here. And even the people that are awaiting trial, they're still like, they shouldn't be here. And Donald Trump reinstituted the wait in Mexico. So if you want to do an asylum trial, you wait in Mexico until you can get your trial scheduled.
Yeah, I think no human is illegal, Jason. No human's illegal. Yeah, I love the comments from the Ron DeSantis conversation. Ron realized it was a bad move to go against Trump. Absolutely. I wonder at what point was he like, oh, shoot, Trump isn't going anywhere, and they just got a mugshot. Now he just won the election. Yeah, he wanted it to be true, Jason. If that's a true story, he wanted it to be true. He wanted Trump to drop out. That was his moment. He was riding the political capital of COVID. But then Francis writes, Trump helped these folks find their voices. Yeah, I mean, this is the Trump effect in action, not just politics, but at the cultural level, too. He's helping a lot of people find their voices. He's making people more courageous to speak up. They're not afraid of cancel culture anymore. They're not afraid of calling stuff out. They're not afraid to show their support of Donald Trump, the America First movement. Trump has made it cool to love this country. Yeah, not just Ron DeSantis. He's helped all of us find our voices.
Right. And it's interesting, too, because now that we can actually start calling them what they are, illegal aliens, which if you look at legislation, that's actually what they're called in the legislation. And for those who don't watch the Freedom from the Press podcast a lot, we actually we read the laws, we review the stuff. That's why when the moron earlier was talking about what the executive order said about Native Americans, like, I actually read that one. And, it's a couple pages long and, like, trying to process, because one of the things that happens is it's like that news reporter that was talking about how great it is or giving advice for illegals. That news reporter should be thrown in jail. Their station should be shut down because they're encouraging people to violate the federal law. Like, let's put this in perspective. If that news organization decided they were going to have an infomercial on how to make meth, we would all look at it and go, well, they belong in jail. Or like, hey, on today's news, we're going to talk about how to dispose of a dead body so you don't get caught. Like, we would all agree on that. You know, hey, we're going to have a show on how to build a gun that won't be detected, or how to buy a gun. Like, any one of those things that the person talking about it would be taken off the air, and that news station be shut down. But if it's like, hey, let me explain to you how to violate federal immigration law, suddenly we're okay with it. No, screw that.
Yeah, and the angle too. The very first guy they interviewed, it wasn't an accident that he was a small business owner, and I use the word owner lightly because it's government money that propped up the store, and I think it's a front. I stand by that. It's a front. Nobody owns electronics repair stores that makes money. But he's the guy that was working hard. That's the model immigrant that they always say we want. And he's out there saying it shouldn't matter your immigration status. Like, that was all an act to emotionally blackmail you. And all these sob stories about we're all human beings, your immigration status doesn't matter. Like, all of it, just the entire setup was so well scripted if you're trying to brainwash people into feeling bad about what's happening.
And nobody even misses point A, which this clown loves America so much. He's been here 9 years and hasn't learned the language. I'm sorry. Like, and I I know a little bit of Spanish. When I go to another country, it's a sign of respect to try to learn how to speak their language. But if I was going to be a citizen of that country, I am going to learn the culture. I'm going to learn the language. I'm not going to go become a citizen of Germany and not speak German, for God's sakes.
I'll go a step further and say it would be fun to learn a new language. It would be fun to go to new. I taught English in a year for Peru, Jason. I learned Spanish. I engaged with the locals. I had fun talking to them in Spanish. Like, it was fun to be part of. I knew I was a tourist. I knew I was only there for a year. I learned a lot of Spanish in 1 year. This guy would have to intentionally avoid English conversations for 9 years. He would have to go out of his way to not learn even just a little bit of English for 9 years. And I got to say this too, every single person knows a little English because of our influence on culture around the world. He would have listened to music since he was a kid that was in English. He would have seen TV shows that were in English. You have to try not to learn English in this world. And if you've been here for 9 years, on that fact alone, I'm ready to send him on an airplane.
Yes.
I'm really fired up about this, Jason.
Oh my gosh, we are. Oh, now do we play the whole? Let's do the Holman clip on or no, wait.
We've got this. Well, so we got the NGO clip here. We've got.
Let's do the NGO.
Oh, we have one more Homan, actually. I wonder if this is a new Homan.
Well, I can tell you right now, Chris, is we arrested 1,300 people. Over 1,000 of them were criminals. Who are the other ones? They're either fugitives who've been through immigration court in order to remove but didn't leave and became a fugitive, or collaterals. Where did the collateral arrests happen? In sanctuary cities, because they forced us into the community. Look, I said from day one, no one's off the table. If the United States are illegally, you got a problem. But we are concentrating on public safety threats first. And it just makes sense. I don't care if a Republican, a Democrat, Independent. Why not let law enforcement go into a county jail, a taxpayer county jail, to arrest a guy that you locked in a jail cell? So obviously, the public safety threat that would solve a lot of this problem. I hope the sanctuary cities come around. I really hope once they see what we're doing, and we'll invite you out. We'll be very transparent. Once they see that we really are concentrated on the criminals, that they'll come to us and sit at the table and work with us.
Think of that,
man. Again, you have to go out of your way to be a Democrat and promote evil policies. Someone actually made it a point to not be able to take an illegal criminal already in jail and get them to ICE.
Right. And I mean, it was covered in that clip we showed earlier in Boston. Literally, the guy was in jail the day before. And because of their sanctuary status, the guy arrested for, I forget what the crime was, assault or something. They don't want deported. Democrats want those people in America. Those people that came here illegally, that probably aren't contributing to society. They're gangbangers. They're hanging out with gangbangers. They don't want they don't want us to remove those people. And I got to say, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, every American citizen wants those people removed.
Yeah, and I'm not big onto public polls, Jason. Polls are all fraudulent. If you need an example, look at the 2024 election in the Iowa Seltzer poll. But when it comes to polling on issues like transgenderism, immigration, securing the border, it's not an accident that like 80% of the country is like, this sounds good to me. And then, of course, you're wondering who are the other 20%? And if it really is 80%, you're wondering, well, why didn't you vote for Donald Trump in the election then? Because they only won like 52 to 49 or something. So there's a lot of questions within those polls. But yes, the American people want this. And honestly, I don't even care what the poll number is. Donald Trump's in office. I want him to want this. I only need one person to want to get this done.
Well, and it's funny too, and we talk about it, a lot on the show. We love America, and I love legal immigrants, because somebody who grew up in a crap hole country where they didn't have rights, they didn't have property rights, life sucked, and they worked hard to learn about America. They worked hard to learn about the culture. They applied. They had to take a citizenship test. They know more than a blue-haired college liberal does about America. They love this country more than a blue-haired college liberal does. I love America because I live the American dream. I grew up poor white trash in a small town in Minnesota, and I was able to rise up. I was able to improve myself financially. I had access to education, good health care. Now I've got a beautiful wife and dogs and kids and grandkids. I've lived the American dream, and I am eternally grateful to be in this country. And legal immigrants have that same passion I do. They are not ashamed of America. They would die for America. I mean, it's just how it is,
Yeah, I know. I kind of want to share my little background too, but Jason, we have so many other clips, and we're coming up on the hour, and we have got to get to. Do we save the Catholic story for Rumble? That might get spicy, anyways.
Maybe we play the clip, and then we flip it over to Rumble.
Jason, you're a team.
I think they call that a cliffhanger. I mean, if we were a professionally procured, like, produced show, that would be the kind of thing that we would do. So
okay, well,
let's do this. Let's thank our Facebook, YouTube audience. We'll do that.
Hey, Jason, I want to thank our 2 YouTube viewers today. I think that's almost a record. We have 2 people watching on YouTube right now. YouTube, Rumble is just like YouTube. So my YouTube folks, my 2 viewers out there, head over to Rumble, get the app. It operates just like YouTube does, except it's a different video player that allows us to say whatever we want and not get banned, censored. Jason, I did an episode on Anthony Fauci on YouTube, and I got banned and taken down on my other podcast because I made some comments about RFK and Fauci and some investigations that might take place about certain mandates, across the country. So YouTube didn't like that. They took the video down. They said, that's your warning. You get 3 strikes, and then the YouTube channel is nuked. So YouTube viewers, go to Rumble. Facebook audience, thank you for watching us as well. Head over to Rumble at the American Tribune. We are going live. The show is just getting started. We're going to get spicy, but we got to say goodbye to our YouTube and Facebook audience because there's some things that we're just not sure about.
Yeah, it's I said it earlier in the show, folks. We love getting together with you guys on Fridays. Facebook is probably our most active platforms. We have a bunch of big Facebook pages. The chat there, we know it's a little easier. We know Rumble's not the most convenient platform. We encourage everybody to go to Rumble, though, because we're gonna spill the beans on some of these NGOs and that are speaking out against President Trump. So thank you guys for like, comment, share the show. Consider becoming a subscriber. You can subscribe on Rumble. But we're gonna play this clip, and we're gonna flip over, and then we'll see on the flip side on Rumble only.
Is the Catholic Church in the United States taking a formal position on President Trump's immigration policies in recent days?
We are. We think we have to speak to many of these policies, which we see as going against some of the basic tenets of our faith, frankly. The fundamental right of every human person that need to be respected, no matter their origin, no matter their situation.
What is the strategy for the church in the United States, if any, in terms of dealing with this administration beyond the immigration issues this week? Do you have a big picture 4-year approach to how you're going to handle this moment?
Well, I think all of us are in the church and without are looking to see what shape this administration takes and what positions they actually land on. I don't think any of us knows exactly, but things have come into a clearer light in regard to the immigration questions right now, and so we're responding to those.
All right, folks, this is where we say goodbye. Facebook and YouTube. Find us over at rumble.com or get the Rumble app on your phone. The American Tribune, we are back in 60 seconds. Otherwise, thanks for watching and have a great weekend.